welcome back. This is the Bar Gunner, and today we're on our second war patrol in U-58. In this episode, we're involved in a little sneaky spy craft. We're already parked off the western coast of Ireland, and the mission is to land a secret agent. So let's go. So why are we dropping off a secret agent in Ireland? Germany's not at war with Ireland, and Ireland's a neutral country during World War II. Let's get this spy launched, and then talk about some of the reasons why we might be doing this. Alright, let's get him landed. And there he goes off on his little boat, heading to start his mission on land. So why are we doing this? Well, one reason is that in an age before radar was commonly used for weather, you had to have weather observers. You had to have people who could report the weather in person. And so that's one thing spies would do, is report the weather back to, in this case, German command, so they could help plan bombing missions in England and things like that. Another reason was that Germany initially had its own Normandy Operation Overlord type operation called Operation Sea Lion, and that was to invade England, and an amphibious invasion, which fortunately those plans never came to fruition. They were canceled, but they did use spies to try to plan that landing, so they would have people to do espionage on the Allied troops in the United Kingdom. And then the last reason is Germany wanted to ally with the IRA, the Irish Republican Army, and support their resistance against the United Kingdom. So it would essentially open up a new front, a new war front between Ireland and Northern Ireland. Fortunately, they weren't successful in really any of these things. Most of the spies got caught, or the operations just didn't come to any results that changed the course of the war. All right, what's our new objective here? All right, we are getting new orders. And it looks like we're supposed to be patrolling. All right, let's take a look. So we are given a new sector to patrol. Alright, there it is. That's where we're supposed to patrol. So let's get going the other direction, and let's complete this mission. Most of the convoys are moving east to west, so it's best for us to plot north to south, zigzag, so we can hope to intercept those convoys or that shipping that's moving between the United Kingdom and the rest of the world on this chilly March 1940, going through a snowstorm.
Herr Kaleun, wir sind aufgetaucht.
So we're submerging every few hours to see if we can hear anything. And we just bumbled into. I kind of edited this down because we just ran headlong into a bunch of enemy corvettes. I was hoping that was a convoy, and I thought I was going to get to film record a cool battle, but instead it's just a patrol of enemy corvettes, and so we need to actually get out of here so we don't die. But then actually something really interesting happened here, and I want to show you guys. You see there's a little smudge off in the distance. I'm not sure if you guys can see that. So here, I'll highlight it right here. There. You see that little smudge? So even though I was just trying to plot getting away from these guys over the horizon was, let's see if we can get him. This guy right over here over the horizon. And so it's time to change course and see if this is something that we can get after. Yeah, we don't want nothing to do with those 3 corvettes. When I first saw them, I thought, oh great, a convoy, but it's just basically a hunter-killer team of British anti-submarine corvettes. So let's get away from those guys and start plotting an approach on this other vessel here. So here we are approaching it right now. It's dawn, so I was hoping to be able to get close to it while the sun was still down, but we have to go to periscope depth because in a moment here we're going to be pretty visible, as you can see. It's not very dark out anymore. So let's get to periscope depth. Get the first officer on the periscope. We actually get this thing identified. Alright, so this ship is flying Norwegian flag, Norwegian colors, and at this point it is Norway is still neutral. So the SS Alkimos is not something that we can attack, but that doesn't mean that we can't inspect it. So we need to get to the surface and get close to this thing. So neutral shipping that is transiting through a war zone is allowed to be inspected by the combatant forces to see if it's actually carrying any military equipment, or if it's bringing military, or actually any supplies to a port that is not neutral. So let's get closer to this thing and send delegates over. Let's see if this thing is what it says it is. Because we're awfully close to Great Britain right now for it to not be up to something. We'll send our engineer with our demo explosives, dynamite. Alright, so the delegates need to get over there. By the way, you can faintly see those corvettes in the background. Alright. Ask the captain for shipping documents. Let's pressure him to see if those are false documents. State that their course doesn't look like it's traveling to the port of Lisbon would be my... That's what I'm thinking, because we're right off the coast of England, and Lisbon is in Portugal. Okay, from now on, okay. he admits that the documents are fake. Turns out they're smuggling various goods to Britain under a false flag. So, from now on, this freight is considered a fair prize. You can sink it without risking an international incident. Alright, so we're going to tell the captain to order an evacuation. The captain's not happy, but there's nothing he can do about it. So yeah, so they were flying under a false flag. They were acting like they were neutral, but they are not neutral. So we'll go to the engine room. Remember, we have an engineer who has demo charges. So he can set those demo charges. And there it goes. We just demoed that ship, and now it will sink. And then my guys will come back. Actually, here we go. We're gonna take the ship's engineer aboard. And then I always like to make for sure that if I can, I leave supplies on the lifeboats. So let's leave some supplies for the lifeboats. So I've taken the engineer board, which in real life doesn't really happen. It didn't really happen. Happened very early in the war, but it didn't happen much other than the first year of the war. So I left him a case of fish, and then looking at the other lifeboat, I'm looking for the captain. So we have the engineer on board, but there is no captain. So obviously the captain decided to go down with the ship. Wow. Okay. So we're still going to leave supplies for the survivors. But yeah, the captain was not on any of the lifeboats. So that means he's chosen to go down with his ship. And I'm just double checking, because I have never seen this before, where the captain does not get in the lifeboats. Okay, so yeah, going back to the ships flying a false flag, that happened a lot. In fact, all sides smuggled equipment and falsified documents and flew under false flags. So, alright. And there goes mission accomplished. So we can start heading home. We are actually pretty low on fuel considering how far away we are. So let's start plotting our way back. We have a long way to go. So if you look down in the lower right hand of the screen, you'll see an exclamation point over my engineer. So that tells you we need to address something internally with the ship or the crew. So the engineer is in the command room. He looks like he's in front of the stores compartment. So I'm getting the captain up so he can come take a look. We're also in quite the storm, so I'm going to turn on the pump because the boat is taking on water just from being in such high rough seas. So anyways, let's find out what the engineer needs. It's always bad if they're looking at our stores. Let's find out what is going on. Alright, so it looks like the disturbing discovery in the food stores. The dried fish was improperly packaged and is causing extensive spoilage. There are signs of deliberate concealment. Someone attempted to hide the ruined food. It's imperative that we investigate this matter thoroughly, and we should inform U-boat High Command. So, sabotage was kind of a reality of day-to-day life for U-boat crews. Particularly later in the war when the U-boats were operating out of captured ports, like in France. But I've read about food contamination just like this I've read about botulism in food cans. I've read about lots of mechanical breakdowns, a lot of engines failing, radios failing, things like that. And I've even read about things like faulty welds that were meant to sink a U-boat when it dove. And also even really kind of horrendous stuff like dead animals being dumped into the fresh water tanks. And then attempt to poison the crew by putting, dead things in their fresh drinking water. So, and this situation just got worse. Germany tried to solve the problem by moving workers around who they thought were more Germanic and thought would be more loyal. But it continued to be a problem throughout the war for Germany, and for obvious reasons. So, but let's get into the galley and see what the state is of the galley now that a bunch of the food has been contaminated. Managing the food is actually a kind of a crucial part of this game that I actually think is really cool. So I'm going to have the crew eat up that fish as soon as possible so more of it doesn't go bad. So, and then let's head to the Radio Shack and have them broadcast to U-boat command about the potential sabotage. And at the same time, I'm going to have the radio man play music, because we're far from home and things like sabotage do affect the morale. So we'll get to listen to some tunes now that our mission is over and we're heading back. So yeah, so life on a U-boat was hard. There was no refrigeration anyways, so dealing with spoiled food was normal, but to deal with sabotage as well would be pretty in your psyche, knowing that you're far from home and your food might be poisoned. Alright, it's a long way to go, and we're low on fuel. But if we go good and slow, we can get back. Alright, here we go. Now we can get back to port right here. Back into Wilhelmshaven. This mission had a lot of intrigue. We dropped off a spy. We ran into Corvette patrol. We demolition charged smugglers, and then we had to deal with our own sabotage. So there was a lot going on this time. I hope you'll come with me again. Thank you so much. And until next time.